You might think back to a time previous to this one. I forget exactly how long it's been, probably a couple weeks or months by my estimation. But I did give The Black Phone, this new Universal Blumhouse and Scott Derrickson horror film. There's so many points of interest for me within that long line. I did give it an initial look based on its first trailer. And as I said at the time, with that nearly 3-minute trailer, like one, it's I believe just 4 seconds shy, it was a substantial piece of marketing. I think it covered the script and the general plot lines very well. At least it gave me a bit of an understanding as somebody who's not read the original piece of writing that this is based on. I believe it's a book adaptation. I said at the time, even though the release date hadn't been updated for that one, I think it was set for April originally, and now it's been moved to early June. Familiar to some of our studios, you might see another trailer pop up, a trailer number 2. But I would imagine, again, it's mostly to remind people, like, hey, the release date has moved at this point, and we'll just remind you that the film exists. And they'll probably just give you like a minute trailer, so that's what other studios have done. So it surprises me that this new trailer that comes out is nearly 2.5 minutes. So it's about just 26 seconds shy of the first one. Well, 36. I'm hoping they don't show too much. Because again, I think the first trailer gave a good outline. Hope this doesn't get too spoilery, but we'll see. But like I said, it looked interesting. I am a big fan of Blumhouse. I mean, I haven't liked all their films, but for the most part, I've generally been impressed by their creativity when it comes to especially their horror genre. I mean, they've done some other work, but no, I think they're mostly well known for horror. And Scott Derrickson, if I do watch this movie, it will be, I think, my first horror film experience from Scott Derrickson's work, which I know he's pretty prolific within this genre. My first film with him was Doctor Strange. That's, of course, like a Marvel Comics movie, so that's not exactly the same as like a horror film, even though it had some slight undertones in parts. I mean, you can see some of, again, his style that he's known for. This will be my first film that I will see with him from a horror perspective. I'm much more of a thriller guy. I have my, conditions when it comes to horror films I choose to see, but I'm at least willing to humor the possibility of this will be enticing. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the trailer. We're going to watch this second trailer together. Hopefully they don't show too much. We'll see. I'm sure we'll have more of a discussion on it after the fact, but let's see what else this film has to show off. Could it just stuck with the first trailer? I guess we'll answer that question, but I'm at least willing to give it another go. And June's a pretty open month, as far as I'm aware.
Would you like to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
It's a very realistic story. Again, I'm not familiar with the book, so it's definitely ominous in the cinematography and the presentation. I really like that.
Tell me your name.
Taylor.
I was really starting to like you, Finny. I almost let you go.
Don't hang up.
Who are you?
You know all our names?
It doesn't work. Hang it up.
This is mostly acting centered, I think, for this trailer. He's got quite a wide array of masks, too. I was like, did I forget a couple of them? But they're all good in terms of the feel of this movie.
I made you some breakfast.
What'd you put in that?
Salt and pepper.
Have you seen this boy?
My brother, he was taken.
By a man with black balloons.
So top hats and balloons. Not something you often see in horror, other than, well, the balloons is like an it thing, but
I had
in
a dream
black
about it.
balloons.
Please let the dreams be real.
You're getting out of here.
How?
There's a combination lock.
What's the combination?
Very scary. It's great, though. Here's a horror film. This establishes it quite well.
You're gonna use a weapon.
You are special, Finny.
Please hurry.
Ooh, the creepiest damn thing.
Ethan Hawke's performance is very convincing. Wait, what was that at the end? Okay, June 24th, so this is a later release. I thought it was June 4th for a minute. text escape. Are they going to do like some sort of text reminder, like some of those other, what studio is it that does it? Lionsgate. Lionsgate did these special, you might remember these texting programs, I guess. You could text a number on the screen, and then they gave you these special, like updates in terms of the film's progression as you got to the point of, or maybe more trailers came out, or the film would arrive in theaters. I think they did specifically for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and I believe Knives Out. I think those were the two. They might have done more. I'm just not familiar with it because I didn't follow them at the time, but I did take part in the texting game, so is Universal sort of doing the same thing? Just a more, like, horror-skewed version? It looks like a strong release. I mean, this is much more character-centric, and Ethan Hawke, he's a really talented actor. I mean, well, he and, who's the other guy popping in this one? James Ransone. You know, he and Ethan Hawke, based on the, well, I don't think Ethan Hawke was in the second one, but I didn't watch the movies, but I believe he was, I think they were both in the first one. They crossed over with the Sinister movies. James Ransone, I think, was in the last one, but they were both in the first one together. It looks like a strong release. And I do like this, you know, normally when it comes to horror, as I said, I have my conditions. I tend to go for movies in general that have more of a thriller basis that might intersect with horror. Again, there are some points of parallel with them. But for me, you know, when it comes to horror, I'm kind of like, I'm not a big gore person. I also don't really like the supernatural stuff. As a Christian, it might be kind of upsetting to me. I'm a bit looser, though, on paranormal. I like the layer here, as I expressed with the first trailer, with these kids, or this one kid, actually, having to work his way out of this trap. Which, by the way, this is a very realistic story. I don't know how grounded in, like, how realistic the book is. Because, again, I haven't read it. But I would imagine, based on the way this movie's going, that the prose does match the realistic world probably to many extents. Because you think of child abductions, and they're horrific, right? They're scary, and they happen almost every day. I mean, you see the news headlines all the time. So the way that this is depicted originally, you're like, this is a very hyper-realistic film. It comes across as extremely grounded, but, and as you would expect, incredibly menacing, not just for the audience to watch, but for this kid to have to watch this kid go through this situation. With some guy in, like, in a horned mask, or an array of them. But I like the layer of having to have this kid work through an escape plan in a different sort of way, where these characters are, well, they're not, I mean, are they really existent, or are they not? They're just kind of ghosts within this space because they were stuck here before, but he's guided out by these, by history, essentially, that didn't end effectively on behalf of the other kids. I would imagine, again, based on what the impression I'm getting here. But for this kid, he'll be able to work his way to safety and away from this dude by listening to the paranormal voices surrounding him. It's a very interesting idea. I'm still very enticed. I mean, I don't feel like they show too much. There are plenty of scares here, so we'll see. I mean, when you watch the film, it might be an entirely different story. I'd be like, well, you know, you could have held a couple of them back, but strikes a very ominous tone. And it looks like it's going to be a very strong horror release. Again, Blumhouse has had these winners, and Scott Derrickson, well, like I said, in the first time, it's funny, too. They have these opening crawls of all of these films he's done, and there's Doctor Strange right on the end. Like I said previously, if he had timed this, well, it wasn't just him, but if Universal had timed this for a May release, it would have been really funny. Like, have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the film that he got cut off from. I mean, in exchange for Sam Raimi, who's also very talented. But have these two go head-to-head and be like, hey, Marvel, you miss me? Based on the way that I'm hearing, you know, Doctor Strange, it's May 5th as I'm filming this. Based on the way it's landing in theaters, I'm kind of thinking that might be a possibility. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts with The Black Phone? Looks like it very, as I said, beautiful atmosphere to this horror film. It sets it up really well. It's a very scary picture. And the performances are very strong, especially on Ethan Hawke's. Looks like a good release. I'll definitely look into some reviews to know what I can expect in terms of like a gore level going in. Not to get spoilers and stuff, but just to know what I'm in for. But I would at least, again, humor the possibility. I think both trailers have done pretty well. Both substantially long. Surprising, but definitely gears my interest. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.